Good evening, everyone. White Witch 110 here. It is a beautiful night here in Ottawa. There's the moon. I believe it's Sunday or Monday. It's full. We had a lovely warm breeze here earlier. It's a little bit cooler now. Slightly cooler. Sun setting way back there. Our friend who lives on the other side, of the north side of the building, gets beautiful sunsets. And you can see Quebec, the Gatineau Hills from her side. I'm kind of jealous now. I mean, this side's okay, but it'd be nice. There's the... It's another... Oh, you can't... Yeah, they're there. Seagulls going home. You can see them all on her side going home. So tonight I'm going to be reading Sheila's Nightmare. It is a story that I wrote. And puppy. So come on, let's get started. Okay, let's get started. Sheila's Nightmare. Allow me to set the scene. A humid summer night. The sun is just beginning its descent. It has been a lazy day in the shade. The pavement releases the heat captured to the warm evening air. Buildings emit a sigh of relief from the sun. It has been insufferable during the day, and night offers slight comfort. The rich green grass has turned hues of beige. It crunches underfoot. The roses have wilted, and the daisies as well. They are all praying for rain. She soars through a field of tall grass. In the distance stands a cottage, and inside a woman on her own. As she moves ever closer, she senses her presence and opens the door. Flames leap in the fireplace. The door closes behind. A shy smile is spread across her face. Was this a terrible mistake? Adam had gone missing a week ago in this very place. No trace of him had been found. Not one stitch of clothing or extinguished campfire. It was almost as if he was never there. Sheila was offered a seat and a hot cup of tea. The valley was much cooler. The shade of trees and damp earth was a delightful aroma. She would sit for hours had it been her decision to make. The stranger said very few words. She inquired of Sheila her name and purpose in the valley. She was forthcoming with the truth. The stranger then turned her back. You know nothing more? She asked in a hushed tone. Nothing, Sheila sadly admitted. There was a sudden feel of unease in the room. Was it all in Sheila's mind? The stranger's silhouette was vaguely familiar. Where had she seen it before? Have you lived here long? Sheila wanted to know. 100 times round a year. I've grown old within these walls. The sudden smell of sulfur engulfed the room. Dread was in each of poor Sheila's being. Her body felt she was far from safe among the brick and stone. Glancing at her watch, Sheila bid the stranger goodbye. I must return to the city. The door opened, and once again, she is soaring through the fields. A fence, the safety of home, only a short distance away. As her feet touch the ground, her body jumps. Sheila is awake and outside in the depth of autumn. It was a dream. Summer was a memory continuing to fade, the brilliance of its color gone. Spent petals lay on the ground, brown and withered. The scent of burning wax filled her nostrils, a hint of sulfur. Sitting up, Sheila searched her room for the origin. On a small writing table, her pen, paper, and candle were located. The ashen match rested on a ceramic plate. Sheila sat at the edge of her bed, desperate to remember the previous evening. Had she used the candle? Wrapping herself in a thick, oversized sweater, Sheila took a walk. Her head seemed to be full of cobwebs. Everything was a blur. Adam was still missing. Her heart breaks more each day. There's an emptiness she despises. Who was the woman in her dream? It all seemed so real. Where had she met her before? Racking her brain would not bring her any closer to an answer, so she left the matter alone. It would be another long day, alone, searching for Adam. She recalled that morning as if it were yesterday. Fishing gear and pack. He said he'd be home shortly after the sunset. When dawn broke, Sheila had rubbed the kink in her neck, believing Adam had come in while she slept. She had made her way upstairs. Seeing their bed still made, panic instantly took over. She had been quick to alert the authorities. The command post had been set up, and the grid of searchers scoured the wooded area. Not a single sign of him was found. Adam's picture was placed at all the paths into the wood should anyone come across him. The media had moved on, and the police gave up hope, explaining they had other cases pressing. Sheila was alone in more ways than one. Stopping for a moment, she caressed his face in the photo. I won't give up, Adam. I'll keep looking until my last breath. If that breath is here, I'll find you, and we can be together again. I won't give up. I feel you every day. My body aches to be held by you one more time. A tear found its way down the side of her face. You were here one minute and gone the next. Sheila began walking into the trees, still conversing. Did you know this was going to happen? Why can't you send me a sign? I can't even feel if you're alive or dead. I'm numb for the first time in my life. I don't want to be this way, but I will until I'm with you one way or another. She stood, spread her arms above her head, and screamed, Adam, Adam, where are you? Sheila's question was met by a silence that surrounded her. There was not one sound, no birds, no leaves, nothing. This wasn't normal. There was always silence before a bad storm, but there were no clouds. The forecast was sunny and cool for the day. The lone sound meeting her ears were her own footsteps. Each crunch and crack of a twig resonated in her ears like a train's horn. Each mile in the quiet caused her anxiety. what she wouldn't give for the sounds of a city now. Sheila finally took time to rest by the river. Its fresh smell took her to a memory of Adam not long ago. They had come to the same spot. They had waded into the cool water on that sultry afternoon. Together they splashed water and laughed. He took her in his arms and passionately kissed her. They laid under the willow, its fine branches caressing the surface of the water. Sheila wished she had paid more attention to those moments, soaked in every second, and those times when alone repeatedly recalled them. If she had kept a journal, there would be no fear she'd forget. Leaning against the tree, Sheila thought back to his final touch. It was loving and warm, though she felt a shiver. His last words, "Love you more." Tears ran freely, and she was more determined to find him. "Adam," she said softly, "if you can hear me, please guide me to you. I need closure either way. I need to touch your skin once more." Rested, Sheila got to her feet and continued to follow the river north to its origin. During her sweep of the banks, she sensed being watched. Her peripheral vision deceived Sheila. She had actually seen his checkered shirt. Sheila carefully crossed the water where it was shallow and moved slower. Timidly, she called out, "Adam, is that you?" With no response, she reprimanded herself, but she could feel his presence so strongly around her. "Adam, I know you're here. I feel you, babe." Sheila's heart dropped. Did this confirm he was gone? "You can't be. I won't allow it. You have to be here somewhere." Her voice climbed louder. "You are the magic in my life." Determined now more than ever, she would find him. It had been a solid 3 hours following what she took to be his voice in her thoughts, choosing words from conversations they had had and spots that he had shown her. It was late afternoon the next time Sheila stopped. She pulled out the lunch she had packed. Sitting on top of a large boulder, she sighed and ate her sandwiches. To her side, a chipmunk sat waiting for food. Sheila tore open the bag of peanuts, scattering a few on the flat surface. The noise momentarily frightened the wee soul. Seconds later, its tiny body was once again by her side. "Hey, little one, did you see a handsome young man around here a week ago?" She looked at the chipmunk quickly eating his peanuts. "Silly me," she laughed. "As if you understand me." She smiled. The animal made a few trips back and forth to store the nuts it didn't eat. When the pile was gone, it sat beside her. "I have no more, little one. I'm sorry." To Sheila's shock, this tiny animal laid by her leg, relaxing. Why do I think someone else has done this before? Was it Adam, little one? It turned its head and closed its eyes. Should she dare pick it up? As her hand gently slid under its body, the chipmunk nipped her finger and ran off. Sheila felt ridiculous, believing this tiny animal was a sign. Placing her garbage in the bag, she packed it up with the containers and was on her way again. The further in she traversed, a voice became apparent. "Sheila." It whispered close to her ear. It stopped her in her tracks. "Adam?" She glanced around. "Adam, where are you?" No reply. The surroundings were familiar. The small cottage appeared before her. Immediately, the door began to open. An orange glow saturated the interior. Cautiously, Sheila persuaded herself to move forward. Sheila. The voice appeared to emanate from within. Her heart leapt, propelling her body forward. Her mind was wary and caused Sheila to stop short of the threshold. Adam? She called out. From the side of the cottage appeared the woman from the shadows. Adam isn't here. Is Adam here? Sheila inquired. I need to know, is he here? Her voice more insistent. Yes, came the drawn-out reply. You were in my dream. I came to your home, Sheila told her. Yes, I remember, the woman said, not moving at all. Sheila wasn't interested in the meaning of remember. Is Adam inside? Her eyes showed desperation. Yes. Sheila hesitated only a second before running inside, her eyes wide with anticipation. A loving smile spread across her face. Adam? A figure sat in a chair just out of reach from the firelight. Adam, it's Sheila. Slowly she approached. His eyes were closed. Sheila would let him sleep. He was safe. That's all she cared about. She sat on the rug, leaning on the chair. I love you, she told him. Gently, she placed her hand on his. It took moments to process. His hand was cold. Despite the warmth of the cottage, he was cold. No, this can't be. She glanced over to the woman standing in the room. This can't be, Sheila repeated, sobbing uncontrollable. You told me he was here. Her tears were like a waterfall. He is here, the woman replied. You should have told me. How long has he been here? Why didn't you tell me in the dream? It wasn't my place. The woman came closer. She smelled the rosemary water. It smelled sulfur in my dream, Sheila told her. Death. A simple answer. Sheila turned her head to Adam. Her eyes traced his handsome face, every inch familiar beyond any other she had ever known. The room began to spin, and the fire burned stronger, the heat too intense. Everything went black. She felt herself falling over. When her eyes opened, Sheila was still in the cottage. She was now wearing an elegant white flowing dress. Turning to the chair, she watched as Adam stood. Is this a cruel joke? Her sadness was now anger. She said you were dead. I touched your hand. It was cold. How? Was it a dream? Or is this a dream? I can't distinguish reality anymore. What's happening? Sheila's tears were now from terror. Had she lost her mind? Was she dead? Were they together on the other side? Adam, tell me, she pleaded. The voice she heard was not his. Come to me, he leered at her. No, you're not Adam. I don't know who you are or what's going on, but I want out. Sheila ran to the door only to find it was locked from the outside. She moved away carefully to keep the distance from this man. Where is the woman? She demanded. I'm here. The man's features had changed. What is this place? And where is my husband? Sheila had found strength to confront this oddity. There was no answer, but moments later, she heard her name being called. "Sheila, dear, wake up, please." It was the voice of her mother. She opened her eyes to find herself in her living room. Her eyes darted around while she was once again attempting to make sense of it all. "The shock was too much, sweetie. You passed out on the floor before I could get to you," Mother explained. Seeing the empty glare on her daughter's face, she confirmed the worst. "He's gone." Her mother had held back her own tears. Sheila was numb, her bright future disappearing before her eyes. Adam's funeral came and went. It was all a blur for Sheila, a nightmare she would never wake up from. She fell into a deep sleep that night, feeling the sun on her face. Hours later, she woke to the sound of birds. Turning over to touch his pillow, she found him there. "Who are you?" she screamed. The figure turned towards her. It was Adam. Sheila jumped from the bed. "What's wrong?" he asked. The voice she heard was his. "Who are you?" "My husband is dead," she cried. "Sweetie, it's me. I'm not dead. But I went out searching for you. I found the cottage and..." She stopped herself. "Sheila, you were ill." "I was at the cottage, but I found you a mile away. You had passed out. You were burning up. You've been home for a couple of days now." Could Sheila trust what was transpiring? What was a dream? What was real? Again, Sheila woke, but this time, it was not a dream. She could remember back a week ago. Sheila had been searching on her own in the woods. She had come across Adam's body under the willow tree. She had thought he was alive, though as she drew closer, the truth stung her. She took her place by his side, as she always did. She took his arm and placed it on her shoulder. His chest was still. Sheila sat for the longest time by the peaceful river. She took his arm, placing it back by his side. She was mesmerized by his features. Once more, she kissed his lips, though they were cold. Her hand gently traced his face. She remembered his brown eyes and the crooked teeth beneath those lips. Sheila didn't rush. This would be the final time she'd see him, the last time she would be near him. After the funeral, she'd only have memories. She could watch the videos to see him and hear his voice. She'd never want to forget. This wasn't a dream. It was a painful reality. Unknown to her, his spirit watched over her. He gave his scent when things got tough. He gave her words of encouragement through means she would never expect. Her love strong as ever, his love never ending. And that is the end of Sheila's nightmare. I hope you enjoyed it. The sun truly has just about set here in Ottawa. I hope you all had a blessed day today. And to let you know that my friends, Tracy and Dan, are doing well on their way. But please continue to send them those positive thoughts and keep them in your prayers, just as I do. My YouTube family, thank you very much for coming by to hear this story this evening. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. If you are new to my channel, please feel free to check out my other videos. If you find any that you like, please give them a thumbs up. Drop me a comment. Share any of my videos out. That is always greatly appreciated. While you're here, consider becoming a subscriber. And if you do, remember to click that notification bell so that you'll know the next time that I upload. And until the next time, enjoy the rest of your evening and have a fabulous weekend. Ciao for now.